Tonight on CTV, hear about the recent rally held by former President Donald Trump and his thoughts on the Venezuelan gang violence reported in Aurora.
Then, learn about CSU's cross-country team and its upcoming race out in New Jersey.
And finally, learn more about CSU spring registration and what your advisor could do for you.
All this and more, tonight on CTV.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Michael Rosales.
And I'm Adam Carlson. The investigation continues into the death that took place in Alpine Hall on the CSU campus. Following a welfare check, police discovered the body of a student at about 10:30 in the morning. Paramedics were called, but police say the person, who has not been identified at this time, was deceased. Authorities then immediately issued a shelter in place for people surrounding Laurel Village, Corbett Hall, and Durward Hall. CSU has confirmed that there is no remaining threat on campus related to this event. CSU also has not released any further information pending the investigation. We will keep you updated as the investigation continues to unfold.
In other breaking news, late last night, another incident shook the CSU community after police say someone was assaulted with a knife near CSU Oval. The campus was immediately put into a shelter in place for about 30 minutes as authorities blanketed the campus looking for the suspect, who was described as a bald white male in his 30s carrying a black backpack and wearing a black t-shirt. The shelter in place was lifted after police reported the suspect was no longer believed to be on campus. Authorities say that the victim was treated and released from an area hospital. Police warned students to continue to be vigilant, and anyone with information is encouraged to call the CSU PD's non-emergency number at 970-491-6425. Due to the nature of these recent events, CSU is providing additional support and safety resources, including safe walk escorts, blue light emergency call boxes, and mental health services. The campus community is urged to stay vigilant and report any concerns through the Tell Someone program or by contacting CSU PD. But that is all the breaking news we have for you right now.
As these investigations continue to unfold, we'll keep you updated with any new developments. One person is dead and 23 people were rescued last Thursday after an elevator malfunction at the Molly Kathleen Gold Mine tourist attraction in Cripple Creek. The mine shaft used a traditional cable hoisting system as its elevator, which takes people 1,000 feet into the mine. The elevator failed about halfway down, killing the tour guide. 11 people were rescued immediately, while 12 had to wait for the elevator to get fixed before being brought back to safety. The mine accident happened days before the attraction was supposed to close for the season and remains closed until further notice.
Another pedestrian died in a Fort Collins car crash Tuesday night. The Fort Collins Police Services said their investigation shows a male pedestrian crossing Harmony Road when he was struck and hit by multiple vehicles. The pedestrian was found dead when police arrived, and witnesses told police that the vehicles had a green light at the time of the collision. However, the investigation is still ongoing.
Vision Zero is a commitment by the city of Fort Collins that works towards reducing fatal car crashes to zero. However, the event of 2 deaths by a Fort Collins crash this week shows the city still has a long way to go. Data presented to City Council this year shows that Fort Collins injury crashes have more than doubled since 2019, going from around 300 to 650 crashes since. Bike and motorcycle crashes resulting in serious injury or death were also up 45% in 2023. Vision Zero uses a data-driven approach to study and address these crash trends using the data. The plan works to add more speed enforcement cameras to reduce speed and eliminate severe crashes by the goal of 2032. Now stick around, Rams, because after the break, Elyse Gerke will fill us in on this week's weather.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. I'm Elyse Gerke, here to give you this week's weather rundown. So let's jump right into it. Currently in Fort Collins, it is 63 degrees. The sun set at 6:16 this evening. The humidity is up 3% and the wind is moving southwest at 7 miles per hour. Fall so far has felt like an extended summer. Although temperatures have been getting a little chilly at night, it's great. You can get sunburn during the day and frostbite at night. Experts say there's a possibility of light snowfall in the mountainous areas of Colorado like Telluride, Loveland, and Red Mountain Pass, averaging anywhere between 1 and 4 inches this weekend. It's getting colder. Got to bring the warm weather hat out, jackets, all of that. So the low tonight in Fort Collins is going to be 46 degrees and 45 in Colorado Springs. Denver and Pueblo are both going to sit at 50 degrees. Heading over to the Eastern Plains, we have a fire warning in Sterling and Lamone, and some warmer temperatures in Burlington and Lamar. Tonight, Craig is going to sit at 35 degrees, Vail at 38, Gunnison at 31, and in Telluride tonight, can't really tell, I changed the color on that, there's going to be some light snow, as I mentioned. It could be anywhere from 1 to 4 inches. Tomorrow in Fort Collins, we're going to see a high of 52 degrees and a low of 40 degrees. The sun is going to set at 6:15 p.m. The humidity is going to be up 45%. As you can see, we've got a little rain going on. And the wind will be a little bit gusty tomorrow, moving south-southwest at 11 miles per hour. Over the next week, we're going to see lows dropping into the 30s, which is, I'm excited for it. As I said, that's why I got my hat on. Saturday, we're going to see some clouds. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is going to be partially sunny, with the high on Monday reaching up to 72 degrees. And that brings me to the end of our weather forecast tonight. Now we're going to hear from our investigative reporters about former President Donald Trump's political rally that took place in Aurora last Friday.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Bailey Borkowski.
And once again, I'm Michael Rosales. Former President Donald Trump spoke out about the Venezuelan gangs entering apartments unlawfully in Aurora, Colorado, and suggested these gangs could be a danger to our communities.
This past Friday, the former president visited Aurora to address these issues and talk about his goal to create stricter policies regarding illegal immigration.
Tren de Aragua is roughly 15 minutes into Trump's speech, he played the viral video of 6 armed men entering an apartment in Aurora to his supporters.
Because in Aurora, multiple apartment complexes have been taken over by the savage Venezuela prison gang known as Tren de Aragua.
Tren de Aragua is the international Venezuelan gang and has been at the heart of this conversation. Former President Trump held a large focus on the gang during his speech. This video was played to show Tren de Aragua's criminal involvement in states across the U.S. Trump stated his main point was to explain that Aurora is not alone and claimed he will fight to keep our community safe. But Trump's video failed to cover the current economic turmoil the country faces. More than 6 million people have fled Venezuela, driven out by political issues, economic instability, and worsening humanitarian crisis.
Due to the recent gang activity, Trump spoke of limiting the amount of immigrants being able to enter the country. The former president brought up data from when he was in office on this issue.
4 years ago, we had the safest border in the history of our country.
Trump also shared a graph about immigration where, although the data is accurate, it may be misleading, as the COVID-19 pandemic was not taken into account. There were also some inaccuracies when labeling the data. For example, the red arrow that indicates when he left office actually points to April of 2020, 8 months before he actually left office, where there was an increase in illegal immigration in the U.S.
During the rally, Aurora community members and leaders hosted an event to bring the city together. By handing out food, they wanted to show that Aurora is not as violent as depicted in the media, but rather a normal place to call home, countering what Trump was saying at his rally.
They know them all over the world. They're a savage gang, one of the worst in the world, and they're getting bigger all the time because of our stupidity.
Overall, this rally had 20,000 people in attendance, with people arriving at 6 in the morning to get in line. Coming from across the state, supporters were decked out in Trump merchandise to show their support for the former president. Some people even decided to show up without a ticket, as they wanted to show their support for Trump in any way they could.
It proves to me that Trump's got some fans, Trump's got support, and he's definitely got my support.
A Fort Collins business owner who was also at the rally showed support by selling Trump merchandise to other rally attendees. She spoke to us about how many women are for Trump and her thoughts on possibly having a woman as the next president.
Women are for Trump. They really, really are. Of all social, economic situations and all nationalities. And women have a place in leadership, but it's got to be the right woman at the right time. And right now this country needs President Donald Trump to be our next president.
As thousands of Trump supporters gathered for the rally, another group made their presence known. Counter-protesters just steps away were there to make sure their message against Trump was heard loud and clear.
Kamala, of course, is her own person, and she'll run the country her own way. The reason I'm here today specifically is the gang violence associated with the Venezuelan gangs, which has become a very complicated situation in Aurora. And then we have all of these national Republicans and some liberals coming and just making it their own news story.
With there being so many varying political viewpoints in one area, we had the chance to witness a lot of heated interactions between supporters and counter-protesters.
And I will knock your ass out! Get your hands off of me! I told you to stop touching me! He put himself up against my flag! I told you to stop! I told you to back up! Stop leaning into me! Stop leaning into me! Back off! Back off! Back off! I don't know how many times I need to tell you to back away from me!
You are so much more fun than they are!
Back off!
You are so much more fun than they are! You fascist! You are so much better. It is so much more fun. It is so much more fun.
Call people derogatory names. Stay arm's length away from me. Keep arm's length away from me.
In the end, both sides made their voices heard, but the atmosphere remained tense throughout the day. Heated exchanges like these showed just how divided the country remains when it comes to this year's election.
We are currently 19 days away from the election, where former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris will face off to see who will be the next President of the United States. Although historically Colorado is known to be a blue state, Donald Trump is hoping to change that.
I love this state. This state has to flip Republican.
According to an ABC News poll, the race is extremely tight, as Kamala Harris is slightly ahead in the polls, with Trump trailing by 2.4%. However, this poll could continue to change through Election Day. As we get closer to the election, consider registering to vote before November 5th.
We will continue our coverage through Election Day, but don't go anywhere because after the break, Payton Barill will fill us in on this week of sports.
After 2 years?
You gotta be kidding me!
Okay, no.
Robbie.
Seriously, do you have anything you can use against the dragon? I can do fireball. That'll do a lot of damage. Yeah, to all of us.
Well,
We're in a 4-foot group.
I'm sorry, what else do you want me to do?
Okay.
Hold on. All right. Wizard, what do you do?
How's it going, Rams? I'm Payton Barill, and I'm excited to talk about the CSU cross-country team's upcoming trip out east. The team has spent this week getting ready for their meet tomorrow, October 18th in New Jersey for the Princeton Fall Classic. The Rams will race against 23 other teams on Princeton Meadows campus course, which is about a mile off main campus. This course is known for its man-made hills, which make it no walk in the park. Coming off of an impressive last meet at the Colorado Springs Open, CSU grad student Jaden Thies ran a 21:30, securing second place in the women's 6K. Not far behind her was sophomore Abigail Peter, who also placed top 10 with a race time of 22:18. Both Peter and Thies are incredibly consistent athletes and have also largely contributed to the women's success with their experience. Going into the Princeton Fall Classic, the women's team will hopefully be able to use this momentum and run a great race. The race starts at 8:30 in the morning, Mountain Time, and should have a very competitive nature. Over on the men's team, sophomore Mateo Delgadillo is coming off of a collegiate best time from the Colorado Springs Open. Delgadillo ran the 8K race in 25:39, taking 8th place. Just 4 spots behind him was graduate student Calvin Banta. Both runners largely contributing to the success of the team with their strong individual finishes more recently this season, but there are 2 more names to mention when considering the leadership backbone of this team. The veteran presence of both Lars Mitchell and Quinn McConnell will be crucial for the Rams as they approach the rest of the season. Mitchell, who surprised Coach Kelly Hart with his return, has been a key runner in the men's team, finishing top 10 in both the 5,000 and 10,000 meter races. Last season, McConnell, the women's top finisher from last year's NCAA championships. She balanced her vet school commitments with running, making her return even more impressive. Her decision to come back will motivate her teammates and bring value experience into every race. Coach Hart mentioned that having this leadership pushing themselves to the limit will inspire the entire team, which is preparing for the high competition races ahead, including the Mountain West Championship. Here's more on what Coach Kelly Hart had to say on the presence throughout the season.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, in cross country, experience goes a really long way. So, yes, they're really fit, athletic, talented athletes, but they've just done it for quite a few years, and that goes a long way. The leadership they bring to the rest of the team, the confidence they're going to give their teammates, right? When teammates see Quinn go out really hard in a race, really close hard in a race, that's her big thing. They go with her. When teammates feel Lars swooping up through the field, that fires Michael up. He wakes him up, runs with Lars. So it's huge. It makes my job easier as a coach. They're both great leaders. So thrilled to have them back.
As the Rams prepare to wrap up their non-conference season, all eyes will soon turn to the upcoming Mountain West Championships in Colorado Springs in just a few weeks. This final challenge at the Princeton Fall Classic will give the team an opportunity to fine-tune their strategies and build more momentum heading into the conference competition. With strong performances so far this season, the Rams are poised to make a statement and continue their success into the Mountain West. That's all for you tonight, Ram fans, but stick around after the break because we've got more stories to come. See you, Rams.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. It's a historical tradition here on campus. Cans around the Oval. Now in its 38th year, the event raises money and collects non-perishable food donations for the Food Bank of Larimer County. While we don't yet know how much has been raised this year, the 2024 goal is $60,000 and 16,000 pounds of non-perishable food, equivalent to more than 20,000 cans of soup. Michael, I don't know about you, but I think I could eat like 3 cans of soup right now.
You know, Adam, I'm right there with you. I honestly really love soup. It's just one of those feel-good foods, you know, that you love to have on a cold fall day like this.
Now, imagine having 20,000 cans of soup. What are you doing?
You know, I honestly don't quite know, you know, but maybe I'd make some pumpkin soup. You like pumpkin soup?
Dude, pumpkins are so cool.
Speaking of pumpkins, Brad Bledsoe took home the win for the Gourd War last weekend when his Fort Collins grown pumpkin weighed in at 2,190 pounds. Inspired by the Hocus Pocus movie, the pumpkin named Sarah Sanderson weighed in as the heaviest pumpkin in state history. Bledsoe said that his wife and 2 daughters play a big role in him helping grow his pumpkins and that they already have their sights set on next year. The record-breaking pumpkin will sit on display at the gardens on Spring Creek until this Sunday as part of the Pumpkins on Parade event. Now let's throw it over to our reporter Karma Robbins to tell us about CSU's upcoming spring registration. Karma?
Good evening, Rams. I'm Karma Robbins. This time of year is definitely one of my favorites. The seasons are changing and the semester is almost over. With that comes spring registration. And let's be honest, spring semester always feels a little easier. But it seems many students aren't fully aware of how much advisors can help with the registration process.
Typical day is full of student appointments. That fluctuates depending on what time of year, but anymore we're pretty busy throughout the year.
My academic advisor has laid out all my courses I need to take and all my classes, so that's been really helpful.
With spring registration coming up, there can be a few problems students have.
Challenges, availability of coursework. Sometimes a course the student needs isn't available because the professor's on sabbatical. We run into that a lot.
This has been a struggle for me personally. I feel a lot of my classes I've had to really mix up my times just because a lot of the classes are full when I go to register, so it's been a bit of a struggle getting the classes I need.
To prepare for spring registration, here are a couple of things that you can do.
The best thing a student can do to prepare for spring registration is meet with their advisor. I don't care if they're a first-year student or graduating senior. It's so important because we're going to see something that the student isn't going to see.
My advisor has made aware the plan ahead option, which has been really helpful.
Meeting with your advisor before each registration is important to help you with choosing classes, but their job is so much more than that.
Our job is so much more than just what classes to take. So we work in our capacity to support students academically, to help them work through any barriers or challenges that they may have, to connect them on campus so they feel like they're part of the community here.
Without my advisor helping me, I would have not known what to take or how to go about college. She has personally helped me a lot throughout this and last year. With that being said, make sure to have everything ready so you can register for spring semester smoothly. But that's all we have for you tonight, Rams. Check out our YouTube channel for more content all week. Stay safe and have a great weekend.